Hey everybody, friendly neighborhood Glenn here with another episode of No Vacancy Live. We're doing things a little bit different today because I am at AhoaCon 23, which starts a little bit later. And I'm kind of at you from downtown LA. But listen, something really important is going on, and I wanted to make sure that each and every one of you still got an episode today. Why? Because later this month, we got SHaD Pitch 23 happening. That's right. That's right. She Has a Deal is coming back April 27th, 28th in Bethesda, Maryland. We're going to learn all about why this is so important and why I am passionate about this. So let's bring on our friend, Tracy Prigmore. And of
Hey,
course, you are, of course, the founder of She Has a Deal. And of course, SHaD Pitch. How are you today, Tracy?
I'm doing well, Glenn. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
It is so great to see you too. So before we really get into the whole thing, for those of you, for those that haven't seen you before and aren't sure what it is, let's just start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about what She Has a Deal is, colloquially known as SHaD, and why you got involved in doing this for people.
Absolutely. So She Has a Deal is a real estate investment platform, and we create new pathways to hotel ownership and development for women. We have a signature pitch competition. A lot of people know us from the pitch competition, but we're more than a pitch competition. And so with She Has a Deal, we are teaching women how to become hotel owners and developers. And then the education process culminates into a pitch competition. So I created the pitch competition part of it to lock in the learning, right? So if you're learning something, if you're not applying it real time, then you might not remember or really understand what you're learning. So the pitch competition was a way to lock in the learning. So the women are learning through our 9-stage hotel investment roadmap, and then they go out while they're learning and identify opportunities, whether they be acquisitions, they could be adaptive reuse, or even ground up construction. So they're applying all the learning, putting real deals under contract, and then they have an opportunity to pitch and win equity in their deals. So I got started because I, on my own journey to hotel ownership, I found it very challenging and to find information in the way that I wanted or needed to take on the risk. And so I didn't want other women to have to go through those same burdens, and I wanted them to enter into the industry more competent than I was when I started.
That is absolutely fantastic, and I love that you want to give it back, because one of the problems when it comes to hotel ownership, it seems so mysterious. There's this group of people out there that have mastered it, but they might be Jedi hoteliers, but they aren't bringing on Padawans like yourself to really teach you how to do it. Sorry for the Star Wars references out there, for people that don't get all that, but I would love to be able to do what you are doing in terms of being able to invest in hotels and stuff like that. But I don't have the financial means necessarily. And I also feel like I'm swimming in that world of I don't know what I don't know. So what are the first things that you like to teach people that come into your program to orient them and make them feel comfortable and confident that they too could be part owners or complete owners in a hospitality environment?
Yeah, well, first of all, the education that we have is more like mentorship education. We like to say we're like a mentor in a pocket, meaning when you have a mentor, this education that we give is not education that you could necessarily read in a book or that you get in school. This is the education that a mentor, someone who cares about your success and has already gone through it, or is going through it and has learned and made mistakes and grown from those mistakes. They have a network, right, that they can bring you into and share the resources and the knowledge with you. So when it comes to the education for any industry, for any type of opportunities that you would get into, you really need to understand and learn the business, but you also need to be connected to those who can open the doors for you or help accelerate you, what we like to say, catapult you. So we're teaching everything from how do you even find a deal, right? It seems so elementary. Like where do you go to find a deal? We start there.
Or Tracy, I mean, yeah, let me stop you there for 1 second,
Yeah.
because that's the truth. Because I spend my whole life in this milieu of conferences, right? I'm here for another conference right now. And every
Yes.
time I talk to these women and men about where they're finding deals and stuff like that, all they do is, you got to find them off market. You got to find them off. What the
Yeah.
heck does that mean? Where are they going and finding them under rocks or something like that? So it's very secretive in a way, right?
Well, there's brokers, there's hotel brokers
Yeah.
and they put
But
deals
they don't
out
want people
all
to
the
want to deal with
time.
the brokers. They want to kind of
Yeah.
get them before they get to the brokerage part, because
Right.
that way it helps them negotiate better pricing on the deal without getting caught
Right.
in a rising battle against someone else who wants that property.
Which is so real. So to me, what we
Hmm.
teach, and I don't know if anybody's ever listening to me, I tell them to be door knockers, right? So when you go to the conferences and you're meeting people and you're networking, ask them, hey, do you have anything you want to sell? And stay in touch with people. And, I think
Hmm.
about back in my single family rental days and the people that were very successful, back in that asset class, they were knocking on doors and asking people, do you want to sell? Do you want to sell?
Right.
A lot of doors you have to knock on, but you can find great deals when a person you don't know who you're going to call, who you might make their day, right? Because they are looking to sell, but they're busy. They didn't have time to find a broker, or they don't want it on the market actively. They don't want anybody, to know that they're selling it. So I
Right.
tell people to, hey, go and ask people, write letters, make phone calls. Data is out there these days, right? You can find the data on who owns it, or call management companies, and they know if their clients are maybe looking to sell or interested in
Hmm.
selling. But you have to hunt. Like anything else, you're going to get a good deal, you're going to have to hunt. So if you're willing to hunt, I think you find better deals than if you just focus on the ones that are brokered.
Right. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. But I would think that people don't necessarily have the confidence to figure out the hunt at the beginning, because one of the things that I think has prevented people from excelling in their career might be the lack of feeling accepted into that community
Yeah.
environment, that feeling like I'm not good enough to be here because I'm not as experienced. So that must take a lot to get through with certain people. And I say that
Yeah.
coming from a place of honesty about myself and how I felt about certain aspects of my career as well. So I can only imagine that people of color and women in general probably have that a little bit more than someone like me that might have been invited into the club a little bit easier.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's real. That's
Hmm.
true, and that's real. But if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. So you have to
Right.
enter rooms, with the confidence and that, yes, I belong here. Yes, I am
Hmm.
intelligent. I'm brilliant. I can make things happen. But you also have to put the work in. So it's not,
Yeah.
you can't step in thinking, okay, it all falls in your lap. You step in with confidence when you're gaining the knowledge. So when
Right.
we talk about SHaD, we talk about in our education is building competencies in the area where you're
Hmm.
going to be you're going to be incompetent in some areas, and that's okay as long as you're consciously incompetent, right?
Right.
So the
Right.
more knowledge you gain, the more confidence that you have. But you do need to learn the language. You do need to understand how it works in order to be able to operate effectively and efficiently with the players who may control the supply or control
Hmm.
the funding that's required. You want them to gain confidence that you can close the deal, or you're going to pay them back if it's capital, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter who you are. The money needs to be paid back, and if I'm a capital provider, I want competent people with I say a little bit of grit, a little bit of hustle, that no
Right.
matter what, they're going to figure out how they're going to get it paid back, or how they're going to make that operation work when downturns happen or when challenges come about. You want someone who's going to not just walk away or cave in, but they're going to go out and try to figure out what can be done so they can pay you back their loan, or so they can be
Right.
successful, period. And I think it's applicable across any industry. And the biggest
Agreed.
advice I would give is, hey, you have to learn it and you have to put the time in. I do think sometimes people think that hotel ownership is glamorous. In fact, it's so funny, Glenn.
Yeah.
So I did a class, a master class. I taught a master
Right.
class to a group of women. I mean, these are
Uh-huh.
women that are top of their industry. I was in LA a few weeks ago, and they're top of their industry. And I had a nice room full of women who were, yes, I want to own a hotel. Da, da, da. So I went through the real deal. I went through the 9 stages on an abbreviated version. And most of the women came up to me. They're like, look, I think I just want to be a limited partner. I think I just want to, I'm going to think about this a little bit more because, it looks glamorous, but it's work. Like any other business, it's work. And you want to be passionate about it. You want to be willing to put in the time. It's a large capital investment. And it's complex. There's complexities that I didn't realize. I ran hospitals. I was like, oh, I ran hospitals. I could run a hotel. I mean, that's got to be simple.
Hey, they both got the hospice part in it, right?
Right. It is not like a hospital because with the hospital, we could kill people. So there's a lot more risk there. But it is still complex, right? There's still things that you need to know that you wouldn't think as a person who just stays in the hotel that you need to know.
But one of the good things is for somebody like me, for example, that I don't necessarily want to be in there full time, but I do want to have that kind of feeling. So I could put money into your SHaD Prosperity Fund where individuals and companies can put in like as little as $25,000 on women hotel projects, women-owned hotel projects. I think that's pretty cool because it'll make me I could invest if I want to. I don't have to run it. Plus, I could also feel like I'm helping somebody else hit their goals as well.
Yeah, no, the SHaD Prosperity Fund, I created that because, we needed to have access, more availability and access to capital. So that strategy is really about, raising equity and having capital that's proactively available to invest in women-led hotel projects. So one of the biggest barriers is capital and the availability, not just the access, because people tell me all the time, Tracy, there's plenty of money out there. Well, there's plenty of money out there for some who have the connections, who have maybe a background, but it's not, it's not necessarily available to all of us. And so we wanted to make capital proactively available. So we invest in alongside women in their deals. And we also will invest. We haven't made our investments yet. We're still raising. So we're raising from individuals, entities, trust, anybody who wants to earn passive income from hotel investments, as well as have social impact and help us to transform the industry, can invest in the SHaD Prosperity Fund 1. But we, again, we want to see more women owning and developing hotels because we believe the brilliance of women needs to be experienced on the ownership side, on the development side that, you don't see so much today. So when more women are owning and developing hotels, I believe the industry will just have explosive, innovative growth because other experiences and needs will be reflected in the products that hit the market.
Right. I completely agree with that. And I think when you have only one type of individual in any sort of organization, you get you get this feedback loop because everybody comes from the same sort of background, the same sort of experiences, and that lack of diversity, and I will say in thought, will not, will really accentuate everything that you're doing. That's why I'm a big believer in bringing all sorts of different people to the table, because in the end of the day, Tracy, I think it really makes your business better, right?
I agree. And some people think, oh, you're doing this women thing. It's only for women. Only women can invest. You only want women. No, I mean, we focused on women because that was an area or, a group that had not been able, to penetrate or hadn't had the opportunity to penetrate the market. But we want men in the business. Like some people say, oh, change the face of. We're not trying to necessarily change the face. We just want to be more inclusive. And those women like myself who want to be in the business, be big players in the business, will have the opportunity to, right? If they want to. If they don't, that's good too. But we want everyone who wants to do it, is willing to put in the work and put in the investment to have the opportunity. But we're not trying to wipe out men. Like I love men.
No, and that's the weird thing about this, because what you say, you're teasing, but it's like all of a sudden you got these older men that are all freaking out that they're going to be replaced. The fact of the matter is they're getting old. They're going to be replaced anyway. I'm going to be replaced one day. We're all going to be replaced, right? And we're reminded it every day because of all those little children that are all over the place. But that's just the natural order of the universe. I think we need to embrace it. And what you're doing is absolutely amazing, helping people become part of our incredible hospitality community in a real meaningful way. One of the ways that you're doing that, of course, is through the SHaD pitch competition. This year's taking place 28th, 29th, did I say
Oh, no,
it was 27th and
27th,
28th?
28th.
27th
Yes.
and 28th in
Yes.
Bethesda. Tell us a little bit about that event. And then the good news is we've got a competitor that's going to join us in a couple
I
of
know. I'm
minutes.
excited
Yeah.
that you'll get to meet one of our Today's Women competitors.
Mhm.
So the pitch competition takes place. We're going to be at the Marriott headquarters in downtown Bethesda. It's a
Mhm.
2-day event. So we kick off on the 27th with the Today's Woman competition. That's for the seasoned professionals. We have women who have worked in hospitality their entire career, but
Mhm.
didn't understand or know the investment side of the business, and they want to get into the ownership side of the business, so they know sales and marketing and revenue management, everything that makes the hotel work, and they've helped to make many owners and developers very successful. Now it's their turn, right, to have that opportunity to
Mhm.
build wealth through real estate investments. And then we have others who are like myself or in other industries that want to make hotels a part of their portfolio. And so that's the Today's Woman portion, which will take place at 1 o'clock. We start at 1 o'clock. And then we'll come back on Friday morning and we'll hear from our early careerists. So these are the women we are looking to build the pipeline of future hotel owners and developers. So they're in school, either undergrad, grad, or they're just out of school within 3 years. And they're going to be pitching deals as well. Now, again, these are real deals. Now, the difference between Today's Women and early careers is that the Today's Women are expected to close their deals. So they have the wherewithal, meaning
Right.
kind of like myself, came in from another industry, had some business savvy, had a little bit of money, but didn't know hotels. Needed some help understanding and accelerating my knowledge in the hotel industry. So that's what we're doing for them. And then the early careers don't necessarily have a clue. Many of them have said, oh, they were on your show too. I saw a few of them on your show.
I was just about to say, check our show from the week before last, where we had some of these wonderful early careerist women on talking about what their experiences are like so far.
Yeah. So think about it. If I would have learned this in undergrad, I worked at a hotel in undergrad, right? I worked at the front desk.
Right.
Did I ever think like I could own the hotel? I mean, I even worked with the owners. They lived upstairs. Okay.
Right.
And it never crossed my mind that I could own anything like that. So they're learning very early in their career so that they can shape the trajectory of their careers toward ownership, so that they understand the possibilities and understand what it takes so they can continue to gain the experience and the knowledge and the capital that they're going to need in order to, to be, successful in the business. So they're going to kick off on Friday morning at 9 a.m. And we will be live streaming it for those who cannot make it to Bethesda. But we also have tickets still available. So those who want to come, please come. It's exciting to be in the room where it happens, and also to network. So we'll have many industry leaders there who will be participating and in the room. And then right after the women pitch, the early careerists, we have our awards luncheon. And so at the awards luncheon, that's where you'll find out who wins, and also more networking. And I'll be sitting down with a couple of industry leaders on a panel. We call it Power. There's power in numbers, because we believe the whole industry needs to come together, for this movement, for this transformation, to create these new pathways for women to come into the ownership side of business.
I wish I could be there personally, but unfortunately, I'm going to be at a brand conference across the country at that particular time. But I'm going to do my best to get there next year, because I really want to be able to.
We say this every year, Glenn.
I know.
Can you
we're going to make
pick up your calendar?
2024. Just give me the dates right away, and I will lock that in and tell everybody else, sorry, everybody, I've got to go and see a great pitch competition. All right, so Tracy, before we continue, I want to bring in Jeni Jackman. But before we do that, could you just quickly tell us how we can learn how to get involved in the event and where to go to register?
Yes, so you go to SheHasADeal.com, and there you'll find everything. You can purchase tickets from the site. You can learn about the next competition. You can invest in the SHaD Prosperity Fund. You can become a sponsor. It's all there on the website at SheHasADeal.com.
Hmm. Excellent. Well, I thank you so
Uh-huh.
much. And let's just we'll leave that up on the screen. She has a deal.com. She has a deal.com.
Okay.
Go check out that right now. Now let's bring into the show Jeni Jackman. She's a
Hi.
Today's Woman participant. Jeni, so great to see
I'm
you.
super
Look,
excited.
she's so busy. She's on the move right
In the
now,
car.
making deals happen and getting ready for
Seriously.
this. I love it, Jenny. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
First question I have for you is, what made you want to own a hotel?
I've always wanted to own real estate, and I've worked
Mm-hmm.
in other sectors in,
Whoa.
multifamily and industrial and office. And this is when I started working in hotels, I could not believe that somebody had actually put all the pieces together for somebody like me
Mm-hmm.
to actually figure it out. And that's what
Right.
Tracy's done. That's the brilliance of what Tracy's done. And, she does have background in healthcare and also ed tech. So that was helpful to her to be able to kind of put all of that together when she got into hotels. So I'm benefiting, a bunch of other people are benefiting. But I've always wanted to be an owner, and I'm finally figuring it out with Tracy as a mentor and with all these other women. It's great.
Right. That is excellent. So, what was the day that you said to yourself, "I'm going to own a hotel and I'm going to really make it happen"? I mean, turning that dream into movement and action.
I think it was kind of backwards because I thought I had those thoughts about owning real estate, not necessarily a hotel, early in my career. But then over
Mm-hmm.
time, I kind of lost it as I kept trying and working for different people and having different kinds of failures and changing jobs. And so I had kind of just put it away. And then when I started looking at industry news and realizing how open the industry was to women, and I think one of the reasons the industry is a little bit more open to this kind of a thing is because people at the top are excited about giving more women and people of
Right.
color and minorities opportunities because they know how to
Mm-hmm.
make money. They know how to, they're good
Right.
leaders. And so
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like that's why they're leveraging these particular aspects of these particular people to
Yeah.
figure
Right.
out how to get them into
Yeah.
leadership and ownership. And Tracy's put all the pieces together in this brilliant package and help me gain access to certain pieces that I didn't have before. And so, yeah, that
Right.
I've become a believer now that I'm in her pro. I can. I believe I can. It's coming incrementally. I still have days where I'm like, really? Am I actually going to be able to do this? And then, yes, I am. So
Yeah, Tracy, it must feel really good for you to see people make it through and do these pitches. What does that feel like?
Yeah, no, it does feel good because you know how you have a vision for something and you can like vividly see it, but you're not sure,
Right.
how to make it happen. And so, yeah, to see the women come in and not really know anything, and then they're pitching up there like pros, like they've been in the business their entire career, pitching better than people who have been in the
Hmm.
business. It's, my heart is warm because I am a servant leader, and so that's what God calls us to do. And so to see your work, what you're assigned or to do actually come to fruition, and see like Jeni has this deal. It's exciting. It's so exciting.
It's sure. So, Jenny, tell us a little bit about the deal you're going to be pitching in a couple of weeks.
So, I heard you talking about brokerage versus other kinds of relationship finding deals, that are off market, which I do not have that kind of access or that kind of time. Like one
Right.
of my struggles has been, I'm director of construction for a family office that develops and operates select service hotels. And so I'm just struggling, like, as I'm loving this course and doing all this stuff. So, but I relied on the brokerage sites. And so
Hmm.
one of the things that Tracy does is she doesn't just teach you how to go out and sort of have somebody hand you a deal. Like you are looking at everything that is post and then learning how to discern what might be a deal and then making it into a deal. That's a whole other ability, capacity, and that she's able to help people build. So that's what I was able to do. Part of it's because I'm in construction. I was able to kind of recognize, hey, there's
Hmm.
this piece of property that
Mm.
is already entitled. And I know that's a big deal for people who know that's a big deal. You're kind of like halfway there through the
Right.
new build process. If you can
So let's just
recognize
explain
that.
to younger people, entitled means it's already been approved to put a hotel on that piece of land.
Yep,
Yes?
yep, by the planning commission of a
Mm-hmm.
given city. So, and that takes time. That takes a lot of time anywhere. My deals in California, that takes a long time in California. So I was able to recognize that and then work with the broker and the seller over time to get
Mm-hmm.
an LOI signed. We're just working on the purchase and sale agreement right now. We're super confident. They're confident. So, and then having Tracy at my side, she's been able to, where they weren't confident in dealing with just like little old me,
Yeah.
she brought that authoritative, stature and helped me get through my discussions with them. So yeah,
Excellent.
and we're working on a True, which is a fantastic brand,
Mm-hmm.
fastest launch ever in the history of brands in the entire industry. It's a Hilton True, really fun brand that we're working on.
Yeah, it sure is. And before we were going on air, we talked a little bit about how awesome those pancake machines are. Racha is saying,
Super
hey, so inspiring to see passionate females pitching hospitality. I especially love the give back component of this show. Thank you. Thank you, Racha. Really appreciate it. Hey, man, where are you today? Why are only the women commenting? This is very unusual for all of you folks out there. Tracy, how many teams are going to be competing in these competitions from both of the categories?
Yeah, so we have 13 teams competing. So we have 5 early careers, which is the early careers have an elimination round, a preliminary round. So 5 teams advance to the finals. And so we have 5 teams on Friday, and then there'll be 8 women. There's 1 team for the Today's Woman. Usually at Today's Woman, they pitch alone, but we do have 1 team of 2. 1 woman from last year, Donna's back for a second year. She felt like she needed to get more and gain more knowledge. So she's been working on closing her first deal and working on the second deal with a team member. So there'll be 13 deals pitched. So 8 deals will be pitched on Thursday, 5 on Friday. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. So, Jeni, you feel prepared and ready to go at this point with all the help that you've been getting through Tracy and her program?
I do. And we've done a couple practice pitches, so that's been super helpful. But yeah, I was really scared at first. I'm like, wow, we have to put ourselves out there, man. This is like so scary, but it's become fun. Like, I'm really excited about it. It's going to be fun.
So, then I got to ask, what makes for a good pitch and presentation in this particular scenario? Either of you can answer that. Maybe start with Tracy and then go to Jeni.
Yeah. So one point I wanted to make when Jeni was talking about it's, really scary. And Glenn, you talked about this at the top of the show, is that if you're going to get into hotel ownership and development, any real estate development, you're probably syndicating or raising capital. So you have to be comfortable pitching people. You have to be comfortable selling your project and yourself. So what makes a good pitch is one that persuades the investor, the potential investor, the audience, to want to invest in the deal. You need to sell the deal and what's in the deal for the investor and why you believe or why with evidence that this particular project has a high probability of success. So I tell them, listen, first come out the gate understanding or letting the audience understand, what is it? What are you doing? What is your deal thesis? Because you want them to understand, what are you trying to do with this particular asset? How are you adding value? Then you spend the rest of it proving to them, presenting evidence that it has a high probability of success, because we can never guarantee success, but that it has a high probability. So first, let them know what you're going to do, because if you don't let them know what you're trying to do, they might be thinking something totally different, and all the evidence and all the details you're providing don't line up with what they were thinking. So are you going to convert it? Are you going to buy it and convert it to something else? I mean, what are you going to do is so important to let them know up front, and then what's in it for them, and then show them the evidence. So they have the buy-in. They have the buy-in in the project, and then you.
Right. Awesome. Hey, we got a guy. Daniel, thank you so much. That's so rewarding to hear. The time is now. And you're absolutely right. And the one thing that I love about our industry is that though we all compete against each other, the hospitality pie is big enough for all of us to be successful. So there's no shame in exchanging some of the information here when it comes to learning how to develop and create these relationships and find these off-market deals and all of that kind of stuff. Jeni, what are you most excited about when it comes to sharing your story about the investment that you would like people to make?
Probably that I can use my expertise and be an important part of deal making. So coming from the construction side, right? People don't really think of that person as being a part of the deal making. And so it's fun to be able to speak to that as an important piece of making a ground up deal. But then also just like I as a woman have always worked for men, and it's fun for me to be able to speak at the table with other women about deals, about business, about finance, about all of these things. And so it's really fun. My conversation is usually with other people. And so it's just really fun to talk with other women about ownership, about making deals, about making stuff happen and making money. You know, it's really fun.
Yeah, for sure. Tracy, is there anything that I am missing with today's story that we need to know?
Well, we started talking about like what our masterclass encompasses. So if I could just give the rest so people can understand that the women come in like September, and they're learning our 9-stage hotel investment roadmap, which is something I created really just for myself to help myself and my investors understand it. But then when I decided to start She Has a Deal, I knew it would be, I thought it would be helpful to them. So we built it out into more content. But we go everything from how to find the deal to how to underwrite it. So a big part of this process in any investment is underwriting, doing the financial analysis. Is the deal going to be feasible? I preach, and Jeni will tell you, you have to know the numbers. We had a couple of women last year who paid somebody to do their numbers. And I'm like, no. You can pay somebody later after you're proficient and you understand, but you need to understand every single cell, in that model and where those numbers are coming from and what the assumptions are. So we're teaching you, how to effectively do a market analysis, how to underwrite the deal, how to take control of that deal, how to do feasibility on the deal once you're under contract, and then, what's required to close the deal and your team members, everything that's required, and also how to avoid some pitfalls. Again, it's like mentorship education. Then we also talk about asset management once you have the deal and important factors to exit that you need to know in the beginning. You want to set your exit strategy up front, but you need to be preparing every day that you own that property for that exit. And so we talk about that as well. But it's the whole gamut. It's not a one-day course. It's not a weekend course. It literally lasts like 7 to 8 months, and you get out of it what you put in, like anything else.
It could, because if it was a weekend course, there'd be such a deluge of information, you probably would only be able to digest and understand a very small fraction of that information. This is something that's not nuclear fusion, but still complicated to understand. And it takes a little time to understand each single component before you could go on to the next one and really build a library of understanding on how to be successful when it comes to this. But Tracy, what if someone's ready, is not really ready to invest, but how could they get involved? I understand you could donate to a 501c3. How does all of that work?
Yeah, so we are a 501c3, and so we are definitely interested in donations. That helps us to build our education platform. So if you can imagine, Glenn, like we talk simply about 9 stages, but there's a lot that goes into building out that education platform, keeping it relevant, keeping it up to date, and then being able to coach, bring the women in. We do self-study on the platform, so we have to maintain the platform, but then we have live classes that are taught by industry luminaries, but even having the curriculum and the content, and then all the steps and processes that it takes in order for the women to gain the knowledge to go out and find deals, and then of course even the infrastructure to raise the capital for the fund, so that that the women have the access to the capital. And then we're building relationships with lenders so that there is programmatic, what I like to call programmatic debt, meaning there's trusted sources of capital for the women to go to. And so, it really takes a village. And so you can invest in She Has a Deal, the Prosperity Fund, and earn passive income. And our returns they're market returns, right? This is not just a social impact fund with lower returns. No, these are real market returns that you would receive in our passive income investments. And then you can donate and just philanthropically through the 501c3. And then you can become a sponsor. We need sponsors. It's the sponsors, and I have to give them a shout out. It is the sponsors who make this happen. If it wasn't for Marriott and Hilton and Hyatt that stepped up, very early as founding sponsors, I couldn't do this, right? I couldn't afford to do all of this, put together an event. The women win equity in the deal. That's because of our sponsors. So not only do we have the founding sponsors, we have Choice and IHG and Accor, and Wyndham, right? Who are also, invested in seeing more women, get into the business, and they have put, money out for us to build this infrastructure. And then we have all their small sponsors that are, management companies and lenders and suppliers. And it really takes a village, but we need more people in the village. We don't have enough people in the village. That sounds like a lot of names, but to put this program on, it cost us over $500,000 a year.
Wow.
And we're not there yet, right? So we need the whole village to come together to make the transformation happen. So if anybody's interested in sponsoring or donating, we accept all support that we can get, because when you see the pitch, you'll see that it's really worth the investment. And what we're doing today and planting these seeds is going to blossom into something very special and wonderful in our industry coming up soon.
Tracy, I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist, but it seems like since you got started, a lot of the other brands have put in place their own similar types of programs over there. So I think that you've really woken up the industry here to something that's absolutely critical, not just to women, but I think the overall success of the hospitality business at large. So congratulations on all of the wonderful stuff that you've been doing and spurring the industry to come along and make real inroads for the future success of people like Jeni over here. Jeni, any final words before we wrap up today?
I mean, just listening to Tracy makes me just want to say thank you again. Really, it's been so fun, but really super rewarding to become a believer again, that I could actually be a real estate owner. And it affects all of us. And yes, everybody rises when we're all successful. So, and all those amazing sponsors are, they're invested. I see it, I have felt it. And so I'm just really grateful. And that's fun.
Beautiful. Tracy,
again, it's just fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Tracy, final thought?
Yeah, no, I just want to, just applaud Jeni for investing in herself, for putting in the work, taking this seriously. I am really excited about the deal that we're going to partner on, to see it through. And so, hey, we're going to be looking for investors. So if there's anyone who's interested, reach out, because we'll, be getting this deal out to market for an offering. So we'll be raising capital for Jeni's deal, and then others will be pitching. So please come. If you can't come to Bethesda, please watch online. Go to SheHasADeal.com. You can register to buy a ticket, or you can register to attend the live stream. Oh, one last thing with that. With the live stream, you can participate, as well as when you're in the room, you can help us rate the women. And so when you help us, you get to be your own personal judge and rate the women, give them feedback. You also get to pick the viewer's choice. So you get to vote for your favorite team. So we have a viewer's choice for the early career as well as today's woman. And then when you vote and when you participate, you have a chance to win prizes. So we have room nights, we have gifts, we have SHaD swag bags, some wonderful gifts that you get put into a raffle when you participate in evaluating the women. So it's a lot of fun. Please join us. You can learn something, and maybe you might even want to invest in a hotel when you attend.
Beautiful. Ladies, thank you so much for being here again. That She Has a Deal, April 27th 28 for SHaD Pitch 2023. But more importantly, learn the ropes of how to obtain hospitality ownership. Again, go to SheHasADeal.com. SheHasADeal.com. Ladies, thanks so much for being here. Hopefully, I'll get to see you in person soon, Tracy. When I saw you, I think it was at the Hunter conference. It was like more of like a wave as we were walking by.
No, I didn't make it. I didn't make it to Hunter.
I saw you at something recently.
I didn't make it this year. Yeah. It would have been Alice. It would have been Alice. Yeah.
It was definitely Alice. That's what it was. I'll tell you what, Jeni, I go to so many of these conferences, they all kind of become one seamless event. I'm going to go to another one this week and pretend I'm seeing Tracy there. Ladies, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you,
I'll see you all on the other side. Really appreciate it. Listen, I'm all for anything that allows people to get into this incredible industry of hotel ownership. It's something I've always wanted to do in my life, but I'll tell you what, it brings me nothing but joy to see folks that didn't think that they could do it achieve that incredible goal. What a story. What an event. SheHasADeal.com. Go to SHaD Pitch 2023. And listen, if you're tired of looking at this face, why not listen to the audio version of the No Vacancy Live podcast? Nearly 100,000 downloads in March. We're shooting for 100,000 plus in April. Please subscribe. You can find it on Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you get your shows. We are there. Meanwhile, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you sometime this week. We'll be on here and there and everywhere with sorts of shows, but I've got to go get to a lunch because we got a great show coming where I'm going to be doing a dine and interview with the CEO of Jose Andres Group. So tune in for that sometime in the next week or so. Plus, we got great interviews with all female leaders from G6 this week, as well as from Red Roof and their new director, Lena Patel. So thanks so much for being here. See you all next week. Well, see you all this week. Later. Peace out. Bye. Have a great day.